take a look at our stats for our fourth character. I went and pre-rolled them in Fantasy Grounds, and I guess we can take a look at the last character as well from session 3. We made a Flick Floxenbarrow, a halfling thief, and I made sure to spell and pronounce "brah" as obnoxiously as possible. But anyway, we're on character 4. This is just a leftover test campaign or test character. But this looks like it's gonna be our stats, and so I went in and entered them really quick. I tried to pray to Mistra. I said, I made a mistake last video. I prayed to Lathander instead of Mistra, but I should have been praying to Mistra because she's the goddess of magic. So it doesn't look like a mage today unless we can find a race that has a 9 minimum, which is certainly possible. I think I'm going to try and make an elf complete the trope, unless humans... Yeah, well, but I think an elf, wizard, or mage, and whatever it's called in this edition will work. So let me look into that, and I'll get back to you with the race, and we'll start to kind of fill in, or refill in rather, these stats as we go. See you soon, and we'll try and speed through this. Maybe even do 2 characters in one video, possibly, depending on how long it takes. We'll see. So we are in PHBR 8, the complete book of elves, and I stumbled upon, I mean I read it. I didn't really, it's not like I'm digging through like dusty archives, although it is 2nd edition, so but regardless, we can be a gray elf, and so a gray elf is basically like, you, as far as I can tell, it's like, so you need a mage in the party because minimum intelligence is 8. And you get a +2 to intelligence, and so that doesn't mean that minimum intelligence is 10. That means that, I believe that means anything less than a 5 is automatically corrected to an 8. Thankfully, we got a 7, which means we can make a 9 with a +2, and we can have a mage. What's sad is we can't have a specialist, a wizard specialist, but we can have a mage. That was, it's a little bit of a stretch getting there, but we have an elf, we have intelligence 9, we meet the bare minimum requirements. But yeah, there are some, basically in order to do this you have to take like a huge hit to constitution and strength. You get disadvantage not dealing with elves because you're just like a stuck-up like intellectual, I guess. But hey, an additional experience cost, right? But hey, listen, on the other hand, counteroffer, wizard. So we finally meet, what is it, this, I hope we meet this. Hopefully we'll roll better later and be able to like make another character, but thankfully this also goes with like the subterranean. I mean, obviously we could be a drow, that's like really subterranean, but I think that Grey Elf is going to be good, and so I'm going to read up on Grey Elf culture really quick and kind of how to roleplay them. But as far as I can tell, they hold information overall. You know, they're the most intelligent and are just kind of like information hoarders and intellectuals and intellectophiles and stuff like that. That's the kind of initial impression that I'm getting from them, but I will confirm that and enter all of that into the character sheet real quick here, and we will see. I think also we're gonna go with female, and I'll check alignment and we'll check mage kits. Yay, I can't believe I'm saying that. So this is what I think I've landed on for a kit. It's Peasant Wizard. We also had the option to be like a noble or a Amazonian, like, but it doesn't really fit the party as well as kind of just a humble, just like a do-gooder, you know, not I guess do-gooder kind of has a negative connotation, but like just like a folk hero almost. So we don't really have as much underground ties. It looks like gray elves are kind of just like gray, for lack of a better term. We have incredible resistance to sleep and charm, and thankfully our kit is not going to restrict us too much in what spells from what schools of magic we can and cannot cast. What it is going to restrict, as far as multiple things, is I think it's going to restrict alignment and kind of, I think it's going to be, we're going to be like a lawful good, and so it's going to be hard for, based off of this thing, you know, I it's going to be interesting to roleplay this haughtiness and arrogance, but also in a lawful good manner. And so it's going to be like, God, I guess it's like a holier than thou, for lack of a better term, kind of like an indignance, where it's like, you know, I am so charitable and so humble that I'm better than you in every way. Oh God, that hurts me in real life. That hurts me. But look at this, like, we can, like, how are we even gonna do that with, oh my God, that's so little money. Let's roll that right now to see what we have to work with. Okay, minimum roll, so we got 10 gold. We got 10 gold to start with, gamer. Alright, so that'll be interesting. But I think I honestly think that will be interesting. I mean, since we were going with a female, we could have done like the Amazonian thing, but I didn't really want to roleplay. I mean, like, I can't remember if I said this in one of the earlier videos, but like the second edition is a little bit dated in like the stereotypes, and so there's like a savage, and you know, it's like, and there's an Amazonian, and you know, it leans a little heavy into like, and so while I want to make it as authentic as possible, I'm not going to lean too hard into like role playing like the noble savage kind of idea, because it just is a little icky and it can just get a little bit icky. So we're just going to role play like a do-gooder that is kind of like so humble that they hate everyone for it, or something like that. Anyway, they're gonna be lawful good, but it's gonna be an interesting lawful good, I think. Yeah. But anyway, over the rest of the video, I'll fill out some of these proficiencies and stuff based off of what the kit says, and maybe, let's see, I think we'll cut over to Future Michael, and depending on how I feel at the end, maybe we'll think about like spells, or we'll think about a second character, because this video is only a few minutes long at the current time being. Alright, cut to Future Michael. So yeah, thanks Past Michael for that handoff. I've been meaning to do that joke forever, and I just pointed out the joke, but whatever. Anyway, Grey Elves apparently are kind of like isolationist, interestingly enough. And so I think how I'm going to roleplay this character is going to be like he was, or she, I gotta say she was in like enough of a good person innately, or raised in such a way that they wanted to help someone and people and commoners and stuff. In fact, it says in the, you see right there, it says that there's a like a +2 reaction to peasantry, and so that almost offsets the -3 from being a gray elf to non-elves. And so it's like it's interesting kind of balance between, am I a jerk or not, and who am I a jerk to constantly, and why. The Vow of Poverty is also interesting. As you'll see, I kind of get bare bones equipment. I couldn't even afford a bow. It says that weapons are excluded from the total cost limit of personal affects, but that doesn't mean that I can afford to buy one with the 10 gold, because the minimum is 30 for a short bow. Anyway, we're going to start with some daggers and try and rely on our one spell slot and our spell book. I pray that there's cantrips. Maybe that's something that we can figure out now. And so I'm going to do some reading, and then hopefully we can maybe do spells for Martum and this new mage of ours. But yeah, I'm going to do some reading, see exactly how it works, see if we need to like write down or prepare whatever, and get back to you. Okay, a little bit of time since the last recording, but regardless, I've just been doing reading and research a little bit on my off time. Essentially, it has led me to this. I kept looking in the mage, like all the way down, you know, here, where, not here, here, where it talks about like the mage stuff, and it was just like so obscure and like not, it's just formatted differently than like 5e, 4e, even 3.53, where it's like a little bit, it's just formatted differently. But essentially, if we go back up to intelligence, right, at the very beginning of the book, not very beginning, but you know what I mean, we can see this max number of spells learned. And basically this says, this optional rule, you know, it's complicated, but spells at first level, there are not a max number of spells at first level that we can learn. I think that's what that means. Max number of spells that we have learned in a level. Or maybe it's just, if it's 6 at 9. Oh my goodness. So this example says, so she's on because I was looking at, not this is actually doesn't have a lot of rules in it, but I was looking at this, and this is the only rule that's like explicitly, as you can see, there are a few, just a few spells, because this is volume 1 of 2, 3, 4 spell books for just wizards, right? And this, thank the Lord, thank the gods, that there is a starting spell book here. And so we can go to page 8 here, and it basically says that we can look. So we get read magic because we need to know that. We get detect magic because a basic tool of our trade, and then we get 6 spells as far as I can tell. I can't tell where this comes from, this 6 spell thing, unless it comes from this, and this means, I mean, this doesn't mean that though, you know, like it's just confusing. But regardless, the max level of spells combined with this, I'm gonna go off of this, that you start with 6 spells. And so you receive 1 roll on each column of offensive, defensive, miscellaneous. And then Specialist Wizard get 1 additional spell. And then some are universal. I like this, because then you can like have a few spells that are really important to have. You know, comprehend languages, identify, knock, you know, dispel magic, remove curse, teleport. These are all extremely, you know, core spells that can be used for a variety of different situations. And so I think I am going to use the player option universal rule. As far as this, I mean, I can see how this... Oh, I think I kind of want to use this as well. Unless there's another method somewhere down behind all of these tables. How new spells are required. Yeah, so we have to create the initial spell book. And so we can roll 1d20 or 1d12 for each type of spell. If the choose... Why would you roll a d12? Oh, I guess first the ones that only have 12. Yeah, Michael. So the chance to roll don't apply to the random creation of... Or the chance to learn don't apply to this. The specialist, we're not a specialist. Specialist? I don't know why I added a T. Specialty spells are marked in italics. The optional spells include from the Tome of Magic. Tables are constructed to be used with players. Yeah. Provides spells organized by level as well as specialized lists by race and organization. That might be interesting. The last edition. Icons. What is SQ? Oh, that's the continuation of S. But yeah, like, just to give you an example of like how big these are, it includes these letters, and that's it. In one edition, and it has 264 friggin' pages, dude. Oh my goodness. So I think we're gonna do this. I think we're gonna roll 3d4. We subtract 2 that represent real magic and detect magic, which I think are a good, that makes sense, and then the rest we can roll on the appropriate spellbook chart, which are these. And I honestly think just generalist is going to be the best, because we're not even like a specialist, and also like, yeah, I just don't. I think we should just keep it simple for now. Like I keep saying, let's just keep it simple. Let's do, you know, the remaining we can do 1, 1, 1, or, you know, or one of each, and then choose based off of what we get. But I think this is a good thing. So we're gonna roll 3d4 and then subtract 2. Okay, so we get 3 spells. So we'll have 1 of each. So that's good. All right, gamers, this is Future Michael. Just wrapping up the video really quick. I considered making a second character, but I think it just makes more episodic sense to just split it into 1 character per thing. But we did figure out at least the wizard spells. We're probably going to, in that last session after we make 6 characters, go back and kind of just double check our work all on 1, and you know, maybe I can do most of that off camera, but I'll just tell you, you know, when I figure out the cleric spells for the second character, Martin, and other than that, the rest of the video I kind of just looked at the spell descriptions as they are in 2nd E, because I'm sure they have, well, they definitely have, well, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. They're still the basic spells, but the descriptions are a little bit more nuanced and, I guess, drawn out. Anyway, I just wanted to say, if you've watched the video this far, thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you in the next one, session 0.4, which is technically the 5th video, but, you know, just bear with me with the numbers, okay? I don't plan ahead. You know this by now if you're watching my content. And yeah, so I am really looking forward to the campaign, and I think now that we have like the minimum requirements, we can kind of just do whatever the dice throw at us without any aim or anything. I think another wizard would obviously be better. I would love to have a specialist mage. That would be really cool. But, you know, if we roll crappy, we can do another fighter and just have frontline. If we, you know, we can do the world is our oyster, and that's a good thing. So, again, thank you so much for watching up until this point, and I will see you in the next video, which should be a TWIG. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.